January 8th, 24. That begin with an invocation by Apostle Adams of the Church of Benton Harbor, by City Manager Ellis Mitchell. All rise.
Gracious God, in the name of Jesus, we're thankful this evening for this privilege, this opportunity to do this invocation for this city. We thank you for the mayor, all of the representative here that support this work. We ask now as we proceed, Lord God, that you allow us to do business accordingly, and all things will be done, Lord God, for your glory and for your honor. And we thank you for it in advance. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yield to the city clerk for roll call.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes. Present.
Commissioner Henderson, Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Isom,
Present.
Commissioner Kennard,
Present.
Commissioner Singleton,
Present.
Commissioner Warren,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Present.
Mayor Mohammed.
Present.
You have a quorum.
The first item on the agenda is the reappointment of Mayor Pro Tem Dwayne L. Seats as the Mayor Pro Tem for this election cycle. Is there a motion for the approval? Motion is made by Commissioner Singleton and is supported by Commissioner Henderson. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to the approval of minutes. Regular minutes, December 18, 2023. Is there a motion for the approval? Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson. Is there support?
Support.
It is supported by Commissioner Isom. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard, Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to approval of accounts payable listing. Is there a motion for the approval?
So moved.
Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson. Is there support?
Support.
It is supported by Commissioner Isom. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'm just, might be late, but I hope I got it straight. I just heard about some accounts payable that I think needs to be talked about or separated. And if it's already been paid, then we need to somehow figure out how can we rescind it or find out what it's for. Per the charter, anything over a certain amount needs to come through vote. And I still see things exceeding that amount. And I will yield to Commissioner Henderson.
Commissioner Henderson is recognized.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem. There was just some questions around item 741, 742, 743, and that was loan service for $8,100 in December. We really need to just look at that to make sure that those are accurate numbers and what was entailed in $8,100 in December. Thank you.
Carrying none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard, Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
No.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes, with the addendum to We're looking into those items 741, 742, 743.
Voted. Commissioner Henry.
No.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Just like to remind the council that this meeting is being recorded live via YouTube, so please speak into your microphone that the public may hear your vote or your discussion. This brings us to the presentation for the keys to the city during the period of COVID-19 in 2020. We have three amazing young people who were not afforded that opportunity. It is a tradition in the city of Benton Harbor that Mr. Benton Harbor and Miss Benton Harbor be afforded the key to the city. This tradition goes back decades. And this particular group in 2020 was not given their keys. So we are fulfilling our duty as a council in doing so. And then we also have Mr. Basketball, Carlos Johnson Jr., who was Mr. Basketball in 2020. We've only had three in our 100+ year history. But in recent history, the award, I believe, started in the early 80s. So tonight we want to ask that Miss Benton Harbor 2020, Miss Jada Willis, to come forward. And if you can just let the public at large know what you are currently doing. And if you want to mention what contestant number you were, that would be appropriate.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jada Willis. I am Miss Benton Harbor 2020 and 2021, and also Miss second runner-up to Miss Blossom Time. I am currently a 20-year-old senior at Morgan State University studying sociology and music, and I'm just happy to be home, and I'm glad to have this opportunity. Thank you.
This is your key to the city. Thank you. So after we give our three, then we'll come around for photos. If that is all right. And then we have next Mr. Benton Harbor of 2020, and his name is Jeremiah Sterling II. Have the floor.
Good evening. How y'all doing? I think I was the contestant number one. I don't remember, but this is just a blessing to have this opportunity. Currently, right now, I am at Wayne State playing football. I'm a senior there. I have a year left. I'm about to graduate, looking to get my master's in the next 1 to 2 years. Broadcast journalism is my major, and I was Mr. Benton Harbor 2020, and then I was Mr. Blossom Time 2020 as well. So thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
So Mr. and Miss Benton Harbor, forward. So maybe if we can come center, that way if you want to come
Come in the middle.
Thank you.
Come closer.
I do want to recognize the parents of those two. Could you please stand? Parents. If you'd like to introduce yourselves, that is appropriate, because I know the hard work that was put into helping and shaping these young people. So if you'd like to come and introduce yourselves, that is appropriate. All right.
Good evening. I am Alberlina Adams, the mother of Jada Willis, and it is a great opportunity to have this key to the city for my daughter, and it was a lot of work put into it, but it was worth it. It was worth it. I got a chance to see my daughter grow from being like a little shy young lady to a blooming, wonderful young lady. So I'm glad that you gave her that opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Jada's dad, Jermaine Willis. I just appreciate God for giving her the gifts that she has and the opportunity that she had, even though the contestants she ran up, they were some good people. But I just appreciate that God allowed her to win, and she's doing great right now in Morgan State. Hope she graduate from there and be successful from there.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Jeremiah's mother, and I'm just really grateful that he was raised in this community, and that he had the opportunity to even go out for Mr. Benton Harbor and Mr. Blossomtime, someone who just played football, didn't want to speak, and now he's doing broadcast journalism and helped him find another version of himself. And I'm proud that he represented this community well. I'm proud to be his mom. Thank you.
And our final recognition tonight is a young man who I've known since eighth grade, seventh, eighth grade, and took him over to Chicago to get his first taste of city basketball with the Mac Irvin Fire. And he went on to become Mr. Basketball for the state of Michigan. And I'll let him introduce himself.
All right, if you don't mind, can you do it for me?
You got this.
Since I got him up, I think I'd rather let him do it.
Well, come on, both of you all come up. And this is Carlos Johnson Jr.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I had the opportunity of meeting this young man as a fourth grader. He played on the basketball team I coached, played with my son. We've gone a lot of places and done a lot of things, and I can't be more proud of him, the man he's becoming. For everyone who doesn't know, this is Carlos Scooby Johnson, Mr. Basketball 2020.
And you have the floor, Mr. Johnson.
Oh, I gotta have
You gotta say something.
Well,
You can at least just tell us where you're at, what you're doing now,
okay.
and what you plan to do.
So now I'm back at school from a long 3 years of not being in school. So now I'm back at I'm at a community college right now called Henry Ford. I'm supposed to be getting my associate's degree this year, so I've been trying to take an extra class to make sure I get that done this year to go back to university. I'm just, thankful to be back here, standing in front of people and, everybody, a good favor. So appreciate the award. So thanks.
This is your key to the city of Benton Harbor. Thank you, sir. So we do have one photo, Carlos. One photo.
Bless.
All right.
This brings us to the next item, which is an update from Representative of the 38th District, Representative Joey Andrews. Is he present tonight? Okay, this brings us to the citizens' comments portion of the agenda. There is a 3-minute maximum, and the city clerk will call you based upon your signing in.
Bruce Buckarite.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Bruce Buckarite from Grand Rapids. I like your tie, although I'm partial to Paisley. In the past, I've talked about integrity, responsibility, and accountability, but never the word transparency until tonight. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary states transparency is characterized by visibility and accessibility of information, especially concerning business practices. Many politicians often use the word, but fail to demonstrate it. Curious to see whether the word had been used before here, I went through the commission meetings from 2022 and 2023. I found transparency was used only 7 times, twice by citizens, and the other 5 were by then Commissioner Adams and current Commissioner Henry, requesting more transparency in regard to city business. I bring up transparency tonight as it relates to a Freedom of Information request I submitted in November. In that request, I asked for 4 items as it relates to Crystal Springs Cemetery, including the lodge and the bridge. In December, I received an invoice stating that I would have to pay $300 for an engineer's assessment regarding those 4 items. While I understand there is a fee associated with FOIA requests, I do not understand why I have to pay $300 for reports and documents that the city manager purportedly has in his possession. On December 8, I received an email from the clerk stating she had requested a clarification and breakdown of the $300 and the location of the documents from the engineer's office. As of today, no reply has been received. No transparency there. On December 14, I sent the clerk a list of 6 times between December 2021 and June 2023, where the city manager mentioned reports concerning the bridge inspection and subsequent repairs that were needed and to be scheduled at cemetery board meetings. I'm asking for those documents, not a $300 assessment. It is not transparent to invoice me for $300 without clarification as to what I'm getting for that $300. As I see it, transparency would be providing to me the documents the city manager has already admitted on record to having. To do otherwise is not transparent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sherry Shalagi.
That was close. Good evening. The last City Hall meeting was my first City Hall meeting, and so I just have some general comments regarding that meeting. So first of all, Mayor Marcus Mohammed, you lamented that no community members are stepping up and volunteering to serve on committees. So I would like to publicly state that I would like to serve on the Economic Development and Parks and Recreation Committee. Secondly, on the Unified Monument Project, Commissioner Isom, you've worked so diligently raising money for that project. I think we're up to about $750,000. And then I learned about the beauty of that monument at the last City Hall meeting, and that I have a dream by, Dr. King just keeps resonating in my mind, and I see that beautiful 8-foot table of brotherhood and that 9-foot wall, which I don't think we should worry about, Mayor Marcus. I think that we can get a special permit if we're going to go beyond 6 feet. I think it'll be okay. I spoke with the wife of the designer of this beautiful monument, and she appreciated my interest. And so I know that there's a meeting coming up on the 15th regarding progress on this monument project. And so I truly hope that this comes to fruition. It's something that the community will really cherish. I also have some other dreams for the community, but the dream that I have regarding our infrastructure and our streets, et cetera, requires a responsible contract policy, which I think should be doable. We have public servants here, we have attorneys, we can come up with a responsible contract policy that will encourage our local union shops to apply for the work. I also would like to see us give the maximum allowed by federal law to social equity programs. So thank you, Commissioner Henry, for bringing that to the table in the last meeting. Currently, I believe it's 10%, but social equity, as much as we can pay our people, because we need good jobs. Regarding the master plan, I have some dreams regarding the master plan, and those are in concert with what Commissioner Ethel Clark Griffin mentioned. And that would be income-based housing. I know our Emma Jean Hull apartments are really cute and nice and all that, but none of us can afford those. So we need income-based housing. We also need housing for our elderly. We also need teen centers. So I have those dreams. I'm a member of the 1st Ward, Commissioner Henderson. We need the streets cleaned. We need the streets cleaned on a regular basis. I'm going to expect that. The children ride their bikes and others ride on 2 wheels. There's something called coefficient of kinetic friction. When there's filth on the streets, people are at risk. Not only is it a blight on our community. Speaking of blight, I would also like to see slum landlords held accountable for maintaining their properties in our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Laura Gabbard.
It happened quicker than I expected. Happy Monday and Happy New Year for those of you who celebrate the new year in January. So I'll do it in March. I just want to personally congratulate our new city council members. Congratulations to Satana Warren. Congratulations to Commissioner Warren and Commissioner Kennard. I've worked very closely with you, Mama Kennard. Your integrity is impeccable. I've never seen anyone attend both the school board and the city council meetings as religiously as you do. Your love for the city is just unmatched. And I'm also very grateful to this commission, the city council, for voting unanimously to help keep the Fresh Start Children's Garden in our community. I was just super proud to see that happen. And just, with all that's going on with agriculture right now, more than ever, we need gardens, and we need to be teaching our children how to garden. So really excited about that as well. I started to buy you flowers, but then I thought, would I be supporting your competition? So I didn't know, but I have something in mind for you coming soon. I did want to speak real briefly about my concern about the responsible contracting policy. I believe that our congressman also talked about it. That idea was brought on the floor, and there was an opportunity for us as a city to provide better jobs, better paying jobs, better training for our community. And it was once said, we have an all Black city council. And so I was told that we didn't need a racial equity office, but that was evident that we do. We do. Even though we are Black, we still have some responsibilities beyond our skin color to actually do what is right for the people in this community. If we do what's right for the Black folks, we will end up doing what's right for everybody. So I hope that this council will, take another look at that policy and give folks a chance to put some policies in place to make sure that our people are paid more. I hope that we would not, block that again. Let's put that back on the table. And then I would also hope that we would look into whatever happened that moved our voting location from right here all the way out to the college. We got to make sure that those types of things don't happen, understanding that our people do not have transportation. That's voter suppression, and it's our responsibility to make sure that that's not happening. And so thank you for your time. You all have an amazing Monday evening.
No more comments.
I'd like to thank everyone who participated in the citizens' comments, public participation. This brings us to the consent calendar items. Is there a motion for the approval of the consent calendar? Or are there items that should be separate?
Make a motion to support.
The chair recognizes Commissioner Clark Griffin.
I like to separate number 5.
Duly noted. Is there a motion for the approval of the consent calendar?
So moved.
Motion is made by Commissioner Singleton and is supported by Commissioner Henderson. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Kennard? For the consent calendar. Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to the separated item on the agenda, which is a resolution approving income limits and asset level test for property tax exemption guidelines for tax year 2024. Is there a motion for the approval?
Motion.
Motion is made by Commissioner Singleton. Is there support?
Support.
It is supported by Commissioner Isom. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Well, looking at this chart, I don't think it's lenient enough. I'm looking like for one family size, you can only make $15,000 and $15,017. Yeah, to me, the average income, I would say 16,000 to 17,000. So if it's one person, if they making more than this, then they can't qualify for this tax exempt. Another thing is, I see where you can only have one car per household to qualify for this. So, for instance, if you have a car and one of your family members leave you a car, so do you get rid of the car? You get rid of one? So I think it should be at least 2. Then I see that the assets, you can't have more than $7,500 in assets to qualify for this. So if you got me being a licensed insurance agent, knowing that sometimes that is used as asset, and most people life insurance policy is more than $7,500. So if you got that part, you can't qualify even that. And if you got 401k, that sometimes is considered asset too. So if you got any of that, that means you can't qualify. So that's another thing. And then it said homestead and vehicle is excluded from assets. So if homestead and vehicle is included, then why are we limited in one car per household if vehicle is not even included as assets? So thank you.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Mayor, I do support Commissioner Clark Griffin. I would ask what limits do we not put on it? Because you cannot change it from just one thing and not do something. So what should we vote on, having it, or is the answer table it, or what are we asking for?
Well, I would like to just read the resolution first. Whereas guidelines include state-required income exemptions, income standards, and asset level tests. Whereas the City of Benton Harbor City Commission has given due considerations to the requirement for updating the city's income limits and asset level tests. Now therefore be it resolved that the following income limits and asset level tests for property tax exemption guidelines for tax year 2024 are hereby adopted. One, in the household, the limit is $15,017. Two is $20,311. Three is $25,605. Four is $30,900. Five is $36,194. Six in the household is $41,488. Seven in the household is $46,782. Eight, $52,076. For each additional person, add $5,294. Claimant may not own more than one vehicle per licensed driver in the household. Claimant may not exceed $7,500 of value of assets, excluding homestead and vehicles. Now therefore be it further resolved that all resolutions and parts of resolutions insofar as they conflict with the provisions of this resolution are hereby rescinded. Now therefore be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption by the Benton Harbor City Commission. We do have our city assessor present. I'd like to recognize her. If you could just speak to these standards or guidelines, are they state requirements, federal requirements, or how did we arrive at
So
this?
the state requires that we have these guidelines set up, okay? These guidelines are setting the threshold for poverty, okay? If somebody qualifies under these guidelines, then they would qualify to not pay their property taxes. Okay, so this isn't something that everybody is going to qualify for. The income limits are actually set, the federal poverty guidelines. And last year, the commission voted to raise our city's guidelines up 3% from the federal poverty. So we've already increased it. As far as the vehicles, that is one vehicle per licensed driver that won't be included as an asset against that person. And the reasoning behind that is so that every licensed driver has transportation to get to their job. Anything above that is considered an asset. Now, if they have more than $7,500 worth of assets, then they would be expected to unload their assets in order to pay their property taxes like the rest of the property owners. Certainly, the city commission does have the authority to change these income limits. You cannot make it harder to qualify, but you can make it easier to qualify. As far as the value of assets is $7,500, the city commission also has the authority to change that number as well.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
With that information, and I remember last year, we did raise it up 3%. I thought that was a good thing. And I would say let's table this and bring it back to committee and have a discussion as to what that amount would be for asset value? I'm asking you to table the item to the committee.
I would just ask, the city assessor, is this a part of a state report that we have to make at a particular deadline, or?
This does need to be in place prior to the March Board of Review, which is the first opportunity for somebody to apply for this exemption. But it has already gone through a committee, and there was not a lot of discussion regarding the valuations. I believe I saw you here at that meeting, correct?
I was here,
Okay.
but I missed it. And it should be addressed. Thank you, Commissioner, for bringing that up, but it is definitely something that we need to address and make sure that we're using compassion when we're dealing with our vulnerable people in our community. So that's why I'm asking for us to go back and have that discussion on how much that.
So could you give an example of an asset? Just so we're clear. Because if we raise it from 7,500 to 10K, then I mean, like, what is it? You know, is asset a rental property? Is an asset?
Yes, extra property, not your homestead where you live, but extra property would be an asset.
Boat.
So if I had a rental property, I'm collecting $500 a month, that would fall under that 7,500.
Well, that would, in two ways, the value of the property would probably put you over. So the asset level test, but then also the income would count against you as income.
So what kind of asset, what would be considered an asset? Both.
Yeah, anything except your home and the one vehicle per licensed driver. And you guys need to keep in mind that this exemption shouldn't be so easy to qualify for, that everybody qualifies and nobody's paying property taxes. This is for poverty. This is a hardship exemption. It's for somebody who is down on their luck, going through a tough time, and this is supposed to be temporary relief to help them out.
Not where somebody can avoid paying their taxes. Just because we've raised exemptions. Chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
Yes, I remember, I think this came through my committee and a couple other committees before it was presented last year. And I remember we raised it to, do you remember what the number was before we changed it last year? We had this whole discussion around that same issue of people taking advantage of the hardship that this is really supposed to be used for. Yes, this is an impoverished community, but then you have people that will take advantage of the low tax threshold. So I remember we had a whole discussion around this particular issue when it was changed, but I can't remember exactly what that number was that we changed it to last year, but I remember there was a lot of discussion, which is why we didn't go lower than what we went when we changed it initially.
Right, I don't remember the exact number either, but I do
like
remember
19,000. I thought it was
13 something for a household of one, but and the commission set it at 3% above the federal poverty.
So, yeah, so I do like the one vehicle per licensed driver. And the income would be based on the head of house, or is it household income?
It's household income, so anybody in the household has to prove their income when they're applying for this.
And so these requirements, are they like structured along, like say if people were receiving certain grants or certain things from the federal government, these are poverty guidelines based upon that.
I'm not sure what you mean by grants.
So if I'm receiving assistance, unemployment, public assistance, or anything like that, or they give certain guidelines, or if I'm receiving money to get my electric bill or my water bill or something paid, then you have to meet certain guidelines from an income base, in order to receive it.
So if you're receiving something as income, like unemployment would be counted as income. Okay.
No, I'm saying
But
that,
if it was like, assistance where somebody paid your electric bill, I don't think that would be counted as income.
no, this is what I'm saying in this story. One person in the house, $15,000, $17, they cannot go over that. I'm saying that grid, where did we get that grid?
So it's the federal poverty guideline, the
Okay.
federal number plus 3%.
Okay, that we added.
Yes.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. It's very pertinent that you know that, God bless you, Pastor. It's very important that you know that if something happens where somebody in the household comes into an income or even hits the lottery or whatever, that automatically you'll be notified for the state of Michigan or the federal government to let you know that they're outside the confines of what happens. And it's also imperative to know that even in state or state-funded housing or federal HUD guidelines, there's always checks that are done to make sure that somebody stays in that parameter as far as their income, because when you live in income-based housing, it is based on your income. And so that's why it's important that when you got somebody in the house getting $8,000 a month with food stamps, or you get them with housing allowance that are exceeding the amount that they're supposed to live in the parameters, that there's a notice or it's almost fraud. So we need to make sure we stay within the federal guidelines, but also recognize that, if somebody is going to exceed that amount, that they automatically need to notify, or we will be notified, then they will have to pay back money for the money that they have got credited, or that's like somebody standing in Harper Towers and hit the big Powerball. They're gonna let them know they hit the Powerball automatically, and their rent will have to coincide with what they make, or if they get a job at Whirlpool and did not report that they have a job, it's going to be reported that they got that amount of money, and then they will not be able to be a part of that program or those guidelines. It's not something that, and let me say this to this board or this body, it's not something that you cannot maintain a city off residential taxes. It's not going to happen. Every little bit helps it go. So, I mean, if somebody's trying to dodge it and everybody else is paying it, then when it's time for everybody else to pay, we can't support that, because I've seen where elderly have lost their property because they wanted to buy their medicine and could not pay their property taxes. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
So I think it's important that we have something in place, because the Board of Review falls on what day in March?
They convene March 5th.
March 5th. So we have 3 meetings, but I don't think it would be wise for us to have this guideline a week before people are to apply.
I agree.
Okay, so I call for a question.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
No.
Commissioner Henderson,
Just for clarity, this is on to table the motion or to vote?
to vote.
To vote for the,
What happened to the motion?
because there were two motions on the table.
What
So
happened
that's
to
why
the
it was a
motion
point of
on the
order. So
floor?
I thought we were voting to table.
There was a, Commissioner Henry asked to table, but there was no second.
Oh. I thought I heard a second.
There was no second.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
No.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard,
No.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to staff communication. I'd like to recognize the Public Safety Director of the City of Benton Harbor, Director Dan McGinnis.
Excuse me, I have a cold I'm fighting. A lot of stuff we'll go over Wednesday, so that'll be discussing things there. But one thing I am happy to announce is our ISO rating has dropped. What that is the number that's used to ascertain insurance rates, especially commercial. So the lower your number is, the better that you are. So when we took over, we were a high 5, almost a 6, got down to a low 3, almost a 2. So we believe next time we'll make that 2. So that's huge. All that goes with fire service, water supply, all those good things. So we're very happy about that. Everything else we'll talk about Wednesday in reference to some of the things we're doing to reorganize the Department of Code Compliance, absorbing that into the fire department, giving more staff and being more effective. So with that being said, I will pass the mic. Oh, and welcome to the commissioners. I'd like to reach out. If you have any questions, we can meet and talk about your wards or if you have any public safety questions. So that being said, happy new year and just have a good 2024.
Chair recognizes City Assessor, Assessor Story.
Thank you. The assessor's office has completed the field work for this year. It was a little longer and tougher than normal. That is done. We're in busy season at this point, studying the sales that have happened in the city for the last 24 months to help determine 2024 property values. These resolutions are leading up to that. Assessment notices will be going out towards the end of February, notifying all property owners of their new property value. At that time, then the meetings to appeal those property values will be available on that notice. Those will happen in March. If anybody has any questions when they receive their assessment notices, they should call me right away. My cell phone and email address are printed on those assessment notices. If anybody has any questions. And of course, as you come in contact with your taxpayers of your ward, always, every year we have this hardship exemption in place with the guidelines, and we're armed with the applications to help people complete that. So if you do come across somebody who's in a hardship situation, send them down. We don't get a lot of these applications, but when somebody does come forward, we'll work with them and help them gather all the documents they need. Those applications are presented to the Board of Review, and they can apply in March, July, and December, 3 times that the Board of Review meets each year. If the exemption is approved, it's good only for that year, and then any subsequent years, they would need to reapply.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Assistant City Manager and Community Economic Development Director, Director Little.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commission members. I'd like to say Happy New Year to you and welcome to the new commissioners. Would like to also extend the offer that we have a lot of things going on here in the city, and if you wish to know anything about them, I welcome you to contact me. We'll sit down and talk about them. I'll explain them to you, as much detail as you need. That's much better than just getting it from anybody who may not know. And lastly, again, I want to mention that our country is increasingly seeing more and more COVID activity. Once again, we have the mask, gloves, hand sanitizer and so forth here. It's for the citizens of the city. It's available to you. If you live in the city, all you have to do is go to the payment window here in City Hall and ask for it, and they'll give them to you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes City Attorney Seneca.
I would like to wish everyone a happy new year. Welcome to the new commissioners, and I don't have anything to report at this time.
Thank you. Chair recognizes City Clerk Moore.
I just want to thank the commissioners and the staff for allowing me to have the time off for the last 2 weeks, and I am looking forward to 2024.
There is a closed session after this meeting. Chair recognizes our City Manager Mitchell.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Mayor and Commissioners. I have nothing to report, but I do want to welcome the 2 new commissioners. I have met with them already and gone over some of the, shall we say, the lay of the land. But we're here to make this a smooth transition and looking forward to working with you all. Happy New Year to everyone.
Thank you. Chair recognizes our second ward and new Commissioner Santana Warren.
Happy New Year to everyone. I'm excited to be here. I don't really have a lot to say, but I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to contribute and help the community.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large, Commissioner Emma Kennard.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be on this side for a change. I've sat and listened to a lot of things that has happened over the time that I've been here, since 2004 pretty much. And I think I'm here just about as much as a lot of the commissioners. And I've sat and heard a lot of things going on. And I really want very hard to work with our entire commission and for us to get things done. But there's some things that really need to be addressed. And as I hear the residents speak, because I've been on that side, I understand what they're talking about also. Because one of the young ladies here was talking about street cleanup. I've talked about that many a times. Other things that she mentioned is one of the things that, and this young man has come concerning our cemetery and transparency. These are some things that we need to really take a second look at. And all of us as commissioners need to have material and everything before we come to our meetings and be able to review it and even conversate with one another concerning a lot of matters that are upcoming to our meetings. And so, like I said, I want to have clarity. I want to have the understanding. And when I call, I'd like a return call. And sometimes when we ask questions, I'd like for us to even have an answer from our city, our city manager. And one of the other things that I did elaborate on many times, and I know that this is to be in place, we need someone to be in place as our finance director to give account of everything that comes in and goes out in our government. And I think we'll have a much better and a much smoother city ran. We're predominantly Black. We got no reason to be even fighting against one another, whether the Black or white. We just need to have the best that we can do for our city, for its residents. That's why we run and we ask that for the votes of our community. And once we get these seats, this is not a personal thing about me, it's about us. So if I did do a disservice to anybody on my city and don't think of them first, I'm doing a disservice to myself because I'm a resident here too. So I hope and pray that we can get some things that you're asking for, sir, and young lady, you, and anyone else that came forward. We want to work together, and I will do my best on my part is to work and hear what your concerns are, and we work towards getting them solved. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes 4th Ward Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'd like to congratulate the two new commissioners, Ms. Commissioner Warren and Commissioner Kanab. January 3rd marked my 2-year anniversary being in my seat. So I'm feeling excited about that. It's a new year, new opportunity, and the best is yet to come. Have a good night.
Chair recognizes 3rd Ward Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to say, Happy New Year. I'm hoping that everyone, I know if you're sitting here, it was a good year for you already. So, I always have to talk about some issues that I've been talking about for 3 years. And one of them is the newsletter. Several times during this meeting, the newsletter popped its head up. It said, there's another reason why we need a newsletter so we can get this information out to the people. I heard we're all saying the same thing about this newsletter. That there's another opportunity for us to get information out to the people, but nothing is happening. This is January, we're supposed to look at the budget. Last year's budget we're looking at in January. February, we start working on the new budget per the charter. That's not working, colleagues. It hasn't worked in the past. We gotta do something different. We cannot keep doing the same thing and think we're gonna get a different result. It don't work. We've turned down some very valuable initiatives in the last 3-4 months, and doing nothing is absolutely unacceptable. So doing nothing is absolutely unacceptable. And doing the wrong thing for the people, the residents of Benton Harbor. I say shame, shame on us. Shame, shame on us to not give our people, vulnerable people that needs the help, any help. Every time we get a circle of people coming asking for money, we give it to them. We don't even ask what we're gonna get. We don't get jobs. None of our programs have put a job in our hand. I'll take that back. Donnie Meeks, he does get a job, but he's not even getting the 25% of the money. So until we, as elected officials, come together and do the right thing for the people of Benton Harbor, I want to tell the people of Benton Harbor, come together. Come down here. I've seen this chamber full, and the pressure will make them do the right thing for the residents of Benton Harbor. I say it, and I'm asking the citizens to be prepared to come. Stand on our backs and make us do what you give you what you need. If it's transparency, if it's a job, if it's training, those things are what we need. And none of us can say it's not true. So, New Year 2024, the first time we vote, and we vote down something for the people, they coming. And they're gonna hold us accountable. Thank you.
Chair recognizes 1st Ward Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd just like to thank all of our residents for coming out. Congratulations to our newly elected officials for joining this commission, and just look forward to 2024. There was a lot accomplished in 2023. As we look back, I am glad to be here. There were a lot of people who did not make it physically. Last year was a year of a lot of loss, personal loss, and just loss in our community. And so 2024, I'm looking forward to more of the great works that we need to finish this year. Like Ms. Sherry said, I've seen you walking your dog in my community, in the neighborhood. So I'm very aware of who you are. And I do agree, we do need our streets clean. And so that is something that we agree on. And that's what I love about this community. We agree on most of the things that need to be done in the community, but I think a lot of times our differences come in with the how. And so I think a lot of times it's about conversations with people, getting to know them. You can't always listen to somebody else's experience with you to know that person. So I think I would encourage many of our citizens, get to know your representatives and who they are, what they believe in, and how they plan to accomplish many of the goals that need to be done in this community, because we cannot, again, do these things alone. We need the community to accomplish these goals. It's not a one-person thing, it is an I. I am a former sports team member, so I ran track and I played basketball, so I'm very familiar with the team concept. You can't win anything without a team. So just looking forward to 2024 and what that'll look like, and the many things and opportunities that lie ahead of us. So thank you all for coming out, and just look forward to doing some more work in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large, Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Thank everybody for coming out and watching your concerns. Congratulations to the people who are the young folks that did something to me there. They told what they're doing now, showing that they had some good structure behind them, and the parents and the community. Public safety is now Public Safety and Public Works Partners Committee. Meeting is Wednesday. I'd like to just also take a moment to recognize we lost Captain Eugene Seats. This is the last time we met. He's one of my mentors. When I came on the police department, he was on the fire department there, and many days I stopped there and he would get some of his good old advice and also some of his good cooking. It's true when they used to stay all night at the fire department. And, so we lost him and got a chance to pay him off the final respects. So, nephew did a good job preaching, kind of moved me there. Public safety, and you say we passed a resolution tonight. I don't think anybody seen that one as to support the spot shooters initiative, something that we had talked about some years ago. We started having a lot of gun violence. We knew it wasn't affordable, especially, we've been through a whole lot of financial struggles and stuff. But we had a presentation at our last Public Safety Committee meeting, and it was an awesome presentation. I think if we're able to pull it off, it's going to make a great impact in our community. We had it in place December 31st at midnight. I think that things have been pretty busy. But, so looking forward to see that go through. And with Public Works, that's something new to the Public Safety Committee. We're looking forward for the challenge to make Public Works better. Come with some out of the box thinking and get things moving. so we can address a lot of those complaints that we hear about, you know, the streets and, you know, trees and things like that, you know. You know, it's a small group, but we're gonna be exploring ways to grow that and make it better. Looking for grant monies and everything we can do to make public works shine. So, you know, looking forward to that. I'd like to welcome the new commissioners also. Commissioner Kennard. I always want to call him by the name I know, but she's Commissioner Kennard and Commissioner Warren. So I think you guys make a great asset to the team, and looking forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large, Commissioner Isom.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight, and Happy New Year. You know, we have I want to make sure that all the commissioners got the monument design with the dimensions and diameters and all the measurements on it. So we can look at that, try to answer all the questions that you had about that. It's going to be on the Planning and Economic meeting tomorrow at 1 o'clock, on 10. And plus we have the MLK celebration at LMC starting next week. If you want to come out and have some breakfast, listen to some great speakers. I think the Browns are going to be the main speakers out there this year. So that'll be next week, starting Monday. MLK, Martin Luther King. Congratulations to all the young people that received the key to the city. That's big, you know, to represent your city and come here and be applauded by your city, you represent it. And you know, I was about the drug bust thing went down. It had the street signs in there, you know, and man, because I voted on the street signs. You know, we got new street signs and the street signs in the newspaper. You know what they do? What?
Supposed to take them down.
Why they take the street sign? We got to come together. You know, put the street sign back. You know, so we gotta. Somebody told them put the street sign back. You know, put the street sign. Why? Trade the street sign in for it, you know. But yeah, spot shooters. You know, people got some heavy artillery around here. You know, they start shooting before 12 o'clock. You know, but yeah, so. You know, we were safe though. But I think that spot shooter, with the help of Captain Brown, State Police, putting that word in for us. I think that's going to happen. We have cameras approved for the public safety. That'll be a big help, key to the safety of the residents and the whole city as a whole. And congratulations to Ms. Santana Warren. Congratulations. We worked on a legislative committee together. And now I can say that I used to be the smallest one here. I ain't gonna say short, but I'm gonna say in stature. But now I got Miss Kennard. Congratulations.
A point of order. Order in the chambers, please.
Congratulations. We worked together. I know we met each other in 2015 when I first came here, so we about the same height. Okay. You know, we're gonna have a good time working together. I like to say that. I like to rap some Miss Kennard. You know, but good to have you here though. I know you're gonna do great things. We're gonna expect great things. You know, and what else I say? Now that we have the public works on the agenda, it's some accountability, and I'm on that committee, and we're gonna watch the game tonight, and don't forget about what, Detroit. What you say, Detroit Lions? You said that's good. Thank you. The Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. God bless you. God bless me. I respect great things. Great thing.
Thank you, Commissioner Isom. Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Thank you, constituents, for your vote. I will say that I was overwhelmed by our fire department for what they did for my uncle after 30 plus years of service. And it went viral to see them have the flag up and the family drove under the flag for him serving as as a fire chief, fire captain, and refusing to be part of what the EFM wanted him to be. And going to hospital. He was a public servant. One thing that I can say about him is he was willing to give his life for his community. There were people who said that save their babies and save family members from the fire. He risked his life for them. Children are still alive today and their family is still alive. So, I mean, his life and legacy will forever live on, forever. Been a lot of death, a lot of loss in our community. Just had another death the other day, right on Wakanda. Lack of medical help or support. You know, young lady, 43 years old, passed away in front of her children and her grandchildren. Sent home, told it was asthma, told it was bronchitis. It was really something else. Life is but a vapor. I don't have anything personal against anybody on this board. If I can help anybody in this board or in the city to do something greater for the city, I have no problem with it. Welcome Santana Warren, who I've known for a lot of years. Commissioner, I can't say just your first name no more. I want to get in trouble because you start saying first name, don't put your title on that, I'll get mad. I've been knowing Miss Commissioner Bernard for longer than that. And I totally respect everything she stands for. She has fed a lot of our kids in the community. She started a lot of gardens. I think I go far back with Ms. Kennard, or Commissioner Kennard, to one of our very beloved commissioners, Ed Harper, who was a freedom fighter, fought for our community, fought for what was right. And I just hope that this year will be the best year for everybody in this room. I got 4 funerals this week. Starting tomorrow in Kalamazoo, and a cousin. Wednesday, I'll be burying another family member. Thursday, I'll be burying another family member. And Friday, I'll be burying another one. It ain't because of something somebody did bad, but it's just what's going on, what's happening. Darwin Watson, the city manager, he lost a son. Prayers are with him. So personality, personal agendas don't matter. When you start losing things that really matter, you know what really matters. You can replace tangible things, but you can't replace a life. So I ask that, I thank all you commissioners who have been reelected also, let me say that to you, and also Mayor Muhammad. You're doing a phenomenal job, and hopefully these next 4 years will be the best years for this commission, the city of Benton Harbor. Thank you.
For the citizens.
Thank you. I'd like to just thank all the residents for coming out tonight. I'd like to congratulate again those newly elected. I do want to quote, some say the first Cosmocrat, Genghis Khan, who said conquering the world on horseback is easy. It is dismounting and governing that is hard. So this election to govern has been decided, and now the tough decisions in governing is what is in front of us now. The city of Benton Harbor is in transition. 2005 marked the beginning of the Harbor Shores development. The 425 development, which was to be for 20 years, those developments will expire in 2025. So that will mark a new era as it relates to economic development. The city of Benton Harbor, Whirlpool Corporation, North American headquarters, phase 1, 2, and 3 has been completed. So that will also bring in and usher in a new, as it relates to the taxes. Project T groundbreaking is June, which is 79 units, commercial space, as well as daycare on what was formerly known as the Mercy Memorial property on the corner of Wall Street. The groundbreaking is in May. It's affordable housing, 55 units, a grocery store, as well as social services. Also, so, and then of course the master plan, the implementation of it will begin in 2024. So this group, hopefully in the next 4 years, what the previous group did in 4 years will be tough because we got a lot done. But I hope that in the next 4 years, we'll be able to set a record where the city of Benton Harbor will be able to really realize the development in the neighborhood. So I just want to just alert, this was put on my Facebook page, where we will have in the next 100 days, we'll have the state of the city. I'll be having a mayoral advisory council, a meeting with business leaders. We'll roll out the new housing and economic development projects, as well as neighborhood sustainability. And I'll be working with the award commissioners closely in that effort. So with that being said, Happy New Year. And let's collectively work together to make Benton Harbor a clean and safe place to live. And how about them Cowboys? I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Madam Clerk?
Michigan by 13.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton.
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem C.
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
That was my Jimmy Johnson impersonation.
Michigan by 13.
Did I?